there are base colors. Okay, the mixture of base color actually generating the spectrum of colors, right? So that is something not new to us. But what are the three colors? The colors marked in primary are the ones, the base colors, are the other source colors. If you mix the primary colors, you get the secondary color. Okay, if you mix secondary and primary, you get the tertiary color. So with these mixtures, you get a color wheel. Okay, color wheel is the basic for electronic design. Color will be in the science behind everything that we design. So if we go to Figma, if this is a circle, okay, and if you are fill color is the property, now you can change the color here. Okay, here we are seeing lot of colors here. Okay, these colors are byproduct. The panel that we are seeing here, the science behind the panel is this color wheel, the mixture of colors. So how do I define that? Primary and tertiary color. Okay, so let me copy a color. So this is a picker tool, guys. So I install this tool and contrast. I guess that's the tool, contrast. So if you install a tool, you get a snippet on top of it. If it is in a Windows 2, you can click on it and you can pick the color on your entire window. So if red is my primary color, okay, and yellow is also a primary color, okay, these two are primary. Imagine these two are primary colors. Now I bring these two together and I reduce the reduce the path to see-throughness. I'll add some transparency to it. Okay, now you see what you're seeing here. 50% of the red, 50% of yellow, giving you the orange. That's what I said here, right? Yellow and red, mixture of 50% of primary, 50% of these two primary colors, giving me the secondary color. See, that is orange. There goes, if I mix the blue and red, 50-50%, right, I can get the secondary color. I've seen two hands raised already. Any question? Okay. If anyone wants to ask a question, so go ahead and type in the link I have messaged you. So I'm opening it again. If there is a question, I can surely see it here. So no question. So type it there in the link. So this is how your window opens up. So in the Q&A, the poll is done. Poll is end. You can go to Q&A and type in a question, something like this: test, send, and I get that question here and I answer and I mark it as answer. So go ahead and type your question if you have any there. So now I'm mixing the primary colors, two primary colors, and generating the secondary color. As I said, again, I can pick the secondary color, mix it with one primary color. I can get one tertiary color, orange and red, 50% of orange, 50% of red, and gives me a tertiary color. 50% of secondary and primary will give me another color. Like that, I can produce the entire spectrum of colors that you're seeing here. I picked a color. Okay. I set the pass through to 50%, but I'll set it the transparency of that particular layer to 50%. So basically, I have two circles with pure red color. I selected the pure red color and also pure yellow color. Now let me imagine this is a blue color, the powder color. Okay. Take a tablespoon of red and take a tablespoon of yellow. If you mix these two, okay, let me overlap these two. Okay, I'll reduce this transparency to 50%. Okay, I'm making the red to only visible 50%. So what I'm doing is, if I am if there is something beneath it, so there is text beneath it, you could see that text beneath it because I put the transparency to 50% of that particular circle. So that's what I did. And I also set the pass through. That means layer pass through is kind of transparency, 50% for this guy too. 50% for this guy too. Now 50% of yellow and 50% of red, giving me the orange color that I want. So the two primary colors, 50% from red, 50% from yellow, giving me the pure orange color. So that's how you produce secondary. And I don't want to repeat the steps to produce the tertiary color, because a primary and a secondary. That means orange and yellow will give me this golden yellow, and orange and red will give me that pale red. I don't exactly don't know the exact names of these colors, but they are categorized like this. Okay. How do we get the color wheel? I think you, Alpha Yankee, now. I am hoping that you already you understood now. Okay, if I overlap completely, so this is red and this is yellow. If I overlap, I see the orange color forming up. Different side by side, 50% red, 50% yellow. If I mix them, pure orange, that is secondary color. Okay. Let me give you a demo of one tertiary color. Secondary color is produced. So now 50% of the secondary color. So I click on this, I pick this color. Okay. If I add that secondary color to, and this is not going up, you get that pale yellow. This secondary, I need to flat merge these guys. So I cannot do that flat merge now. But if I merge this guy, and again, I have to mix the yellow, because that is a secondary color, 50%. Now I have to pick the yellow color. So this was my secondary color, 50% of the secondary color and 50% of yellow. That is giving me the tertiary color. If you see, let me take a screenshot of this guy, copy it and paste it in here. Okay. You see the relation. So primary and secondary will give me a tertiary color. So that is the reason. So we spent a lot of time on this, but I just want to move on. Okay, because there are a lot of things that we need to discuss on color. Okay, the next subject we need to understand the theory of colors. Okay, so come here. So when you look at this panel, so again, I'm taking a box. I expand this. When you look at this panel, now you see this is called hue. Okay, hue. Hue means hue is the purest form of colors. Okay, so you need to keep this dot here on this right extreme corner. Okay, and if I move this here, whatever the color I selected, the purest form of that color is called hue. So purest of blue, purest of green. So This circle again, it is not something new, guys. This circle again, it starts from red and ends at red. So if you remember, it is starting with red and ending with red. Can you see that? Can you see it? It is starting with red and ending with red. And it is the mixture of that spectrum. And the color is purest color. This is, if this is violet, that is the purest, of violet, red, purest of, green, or purest of yellow, or purest of red. So that is what hue is about, the purest color. So here you see onto the far right left hand side is the whiteness. Okay, the white color. On the far bottom on the x-axis, if it moves on the x-axis, it mixes with white. It is, if we go on the y-axis down below, like -y or -x, it is actually mixing with black. So the purest form moving towards the white and adding some white, it is adding the white. Okay, this is called hue. So now if I move here, purest form of red color mixed up with certain point of white color, that is called the tint of red. So let me give you the demo of it. So this is the purest form of hue. Now I moved to a certain position. Now I copy a red color. I'll move it back. Okay, I'll take another box, set the color to white I overlap this box and I reduce the, see, 0%, both are same. This is the tint. This is the tint of, I added some tint, and you can add the tint as well from here. Maybe I should add 80% of white to it. Now these two colors are same. Maybe not 80 or but 70. Yeah, you raised your hand, Ratnakar. I see. Yeah, got it. So I'm mixing white with red, so I'm getting the tint. So if you could see, if you move this pointer towards left, it is mixing with white, and finally it becomes white. And this color is called, if you are mixing the color with white, that is called tint. Okay, and if you are mixing it with black from the far right hand side to down bottom, that is called shade of the color. Okay, this is the shade of the color. And if you're mixing it with gray, like some portion of white and some portion of black, that is called tone. Okay, we see it, we say the white, we say more often we say tint, more often we say shadow, shade, more often we talk about tone, color tone or something. But what the science behind is that there is a purest color. If you mix it with white, it will become tint of that particular color. If it is darker and going towards black, that is shade, or if it is going towards gray, that is tone of that particular color. See, these three have, so this is adding the brightness and finally going to the oblivion of white. Now this is adding the darker shade. It's getting darker and darker, like our Darth Vader. Now it's going on to the oblivion of black, and I'm throwing a lot of Star Wars words. Okay, now this is mixing with gray. Tint, shade, tone, mixing it with gray. Finally, it becomes gray. So that's what the terminology is all about. Hue, purest form of colors. Tint, that purest form mixing with white is tint, mixing with black is shade, and mixing with gray is tone. Now there are different set of color profiles in the domain, like in our In the world, there are different forms of colors. CMYK, cyan, magenta, yellow, and key. Sometimes they call non, some people call it black, but that is a color profile, subtractive color profile that is heavily used in the printing industry. Okay, so that is the color profile for the printing machine. So if you are designing something to print, you should use the CMYK color profile so that your printing will be your printing preview on your machine will be accurate. And there's another color profile, that is RGB, red, green, blue. So this profile is all about, if I select RGB, this is all about mixing the red, green, blue in certain percentage. 255 is the purest form of the red color. Red 255 is purest form of red, and blue 255 and make it red to 0. Green, RGB, green. This is the purest green. 255, 0 to 255 is the number for that, color. So 255 is the maximum brightness of a color, and 0 is the nothing, like it's completely dark. So there's no color called green itself. There is no, if there is no green, if there is no red, if there is no blue, the color is black, because there's nothing to add there. So that is a black hole. So there's no emitter there. So it's all, pulling inside. So there's no emitters are there. So there's no emitter for green. There's no emitter for blue or red. That becomes black. If I have full emitters of red, if I have full emitters of green, and if I have full emitters for yellow, that becomes white. So if I mix everything, red, green, blue, to the fullest, purest red, purest green, and purest white, that actually becomes white. So if I add 50% of red and blue, red and green, what do we see? Let me make the blue to 0 and add 50% to 55. 50% is what? Somewhere 125, 26, 126. That is giving me some sort of red. So now let me add this to 0 and add blue. That is giving me a different form of blue. So you change that mixture of red, green, blue, and you get a color towards it. That is the RGB profile. Okay. And there is a HSL, hue, saturation, and lightness. We already discussed these two items a while ago. So if I select hue, HSL, you will select the base color on the spectrum. So 0 to 360, that means the full circle here. So if this is 0, from red it will start, it will make a travel to the entire circle and set 360. So now this is also 0 and 360. There are different colors between 0 and 360. 360 is red. Again, 0 is red, because that's what it is. HSL is all about. This is hue. Okay. So I said 360, that means red. And then I will add saturation. So saturation is nothing but, adding some black to it. Okay. Shade to it. So this goes up to 100 or 0. Okay. So it moves to the left and completely. So 0, it will make the saturation 0. It will make the color to black. Saturation to set to 100. It will make the color to darker. And I can add the lightness also from 0 to 100. So I can change that lightness. There's no light to emit there. That is black. Complete brightness, that is white. But I just want 50. And this is to 50. So I can set the darkness to 100. And I set the, so hue, saturation, more saturation will make the color darker. More lightness will make the color lighter. So with this profile also, you can generate a color that you want. Okay. The last one is all about, opacity. So we don't want to mess with that, because If I added 50%, it will actually become see-through. The below items, the items beneath that design will be visible through that element. So if you're assigning a color, let's make it, unless we need that transparency, we don't want to set that transparency. Okay. HSB, hue, saturation, and brightness, lightness and brightness. So you can see that profile to HSB, again 360. Okay. Saturation, instead of lightness, you add brightness. So that is what HSB is all about. I make it 100% bright. I make it 50% bright. So that means it gets 50% darker. I might to add 50% saturation. So it will add some white. So 50% saturation to the red. White is mixed. So this is the present, representation, how much white you want to mix. 50% white I want to mix. So if there is no white, 100%, 50% will make it lighter, 50% on the darker shade, that is brightness. I'm reducing the brightness to 50%. That means the brightness of that particular color is going. If I add 100% brightness, that's the purest form of hue again. So why I am, explaining all these things to you. Okay. Why do I need to know? Okay. So let me give you an example. Why do you need to know? Someone said, use same set of colors throughout the website. Okay. If you are selecting a color like this, okay, how do you make sure that another color is belong to this family? So how do you say that these two are, color is different, but they share a lot of traits, they belong to a family or something? How do you do that? Okay. You need to understand the science behind the color. If I'm already boring, let me know. So I'll give a pause. So we talked about a lot of colors. We have few other items to go, but that is enough of this theory, because what I'm saying is, you picked red. I just want 50% of, I just want it to be 50% light or 70% light. So I like this brightness. Okay. And maybe a 80% shade. So that this is too dark, maybe 90%. This is balanced. Okay. Now I keep 70 and 90 here also. Saturation, brightness. Now I can change my color. I'm changing the base color, but my brightness and saturation is maintained. So if you know this formula of adding some brightness and, saturation and brightness to a color and generate a new form of color. Now these two look alike. These two look like they belong together. Okay. That is the reason you need to understand this particular panel. So if you had paid close attention, you might have already understood what is each panel is all about. How do we select that item? Okay. So the hex is all about hexadecimal format that we haven't discussed. So 45, again, color, AC, saturation or brightness, and lightness. So this is the hexadecimal value of that particular 3 different aspects. So the sense, this is widely used because it is simply it is represented by 6 characters. It's not so it's also accurate. It's easy to maintain. It's easy to copy and paste. So this hexadecimal format is very famous among CSS and a lot of other things, a lot of other applications. But so that is hexadecimal. These 3 values, first 2 values represent color, brightness, or not brightness. It can be saturation or anything. And this is about making the color look dark or look light or whatever the format it is. So the values are represented in the form of hexadecimal. So that is why it is called hex. So that's the last thing I wanted to cover. Next thing that you need to understand is about the psychology around colors. because you're not, as I said, color is the most important thing. I'm going over and over again, colors, but you need to understand the science behind it. So as I mentioned on here, okay, there is certain sentiments attached to each colors. You cannot randomly pick a color to work with and move ahead. Okay, as I said on the screen, so red is all about excitement, passion, danger. And if you see corporate websites or hospitals, mostly be in blue, because that's wanted that's one that's what they wanted to communicate: the trust, reliability, the calmness, the coolness. Okay, if you go to the entertainment industry, you see mostly things in yellow, because they want to communicate the emotion of happiness, cheering, and warmth. And they promise the comfort. That's the reason the entertainment industry mostly uses yellow. If you come to orange, you need to understand the purpose, because colors are part of human, not even human, at least I think in the history of world, or history of thing, colors are there. Like, this is not the first time, this is not something we invented it. Okay, that psychology has built around color for generations or thousands of years. So we have to respect that pattern that we already used to it. So you need to understand what is the emotion around the color and pick a color accordingly. You cannot pick a color randomly. Okay, you cannot pick a color and design a something black color and design a trendy website. Okay, maybe you can do it, but with certain sophistications or certain uh, balance you need to follow. Maybe purple, if you wanted to, deep blue, deep purple for royalty. The if velvety designs are kind of represents the royalty. Green is all about the fertile nature of the, fertility. Like, if you represent fertility, or if you wanted to represent the reproduction, so everything would go with that, goes with greens. So if you're talking about softness and nature, that goes with pink. So I don't have to explain everything, but you need to understand the science. You need to read through it. If somebody is talking about some royal families or anything that is royal, that they may pick the purple or gold. Most of the time you see that. Okay, so that's what it is. The color harmony, you have to pick those colors. You need to understand the emotion, and then you pick the color. So let's look at some of the tools that can help pick colors. Okay, so I use these tools more often. Oh my god, I closed everything. Let me open these items in a new tab, new window. So Adobe Color is a tool. So if you don't know how to pick a color, if you don't want to understand the science behind it, so you can come to this website, and let me do this. Let me do this. So let me come here, and I pick this as my base color. Okay, E5 4545, and I come here. Let me come here and I replace this color to here. So this is my base color. This is my base color. Now, this is giving me some other suggestions, because this is an analogous format. What is analogous color set? This is giving me a set of colors to work with. So if you want a set of colors, Adobe Color, color.adobe.com gives you pretty good suggestion. But so if you want colors that are near to that color, so that is analogous colors. So it will pick the colors beside the wheel, beside the main color, the primary color. So if you change this, the color suggestion will change. Everything gets lighter. If I move it towards white, everything will become light. If I move it towards it, everything becomes bright. So now if I copy paste it here, that's my primary color, and that's my analogous color suggestions. Now this next set of colors that you can find is the monochromatic. So monochromatic is the deeper, darker versions of that one particular color. So I pick this color, the monochromatic variants of that particular color, back and forth of that particular palette are these colors. So you don't have to go through and understand everything. The best color sets that everybody uses are the first preference goes to the complementary color. Why this is famous? Because it actually picks the opposite color. If I'm selecting a color on my color wheel like this, so let me give you an example. This is my color wheel. If I'm picking blue, what is the exact opposite color on the wheel? Yellow. So let me try that. How does that look? Yellow and blue. Maybe let me write some text. Have a color of yellow. Perfect. It looks good, right? So the opposite colors are the best they complement each other. Okay. So let me open the panel again. Color wheel pattern. Yes, here it is. So this complementary mechanism will pick the opposite color to in the same spectrum. So in the colors wheel, if my base color is red, it will pick the opposite color. Okay. And split complementary, it will not only pick on the opposite, but it moves a bit here, there, and it will pick some other colors from the same spectrum. But that's what it is. It is a combination of analogous and the complementary. So these are all the things again derived from these things, but analogous first, monochromatic second, and complementary are third, are the best color palette. That these are all the best ways that you can generate a color palette for yourself. Okay, hope that is clear. So I didn't wanted to go deeper into it, but if you go to if you famous brand logos, if you see, most of the time they use the opposite color on the spectrum. See, red, yellow, blue, yellow, blue, white. They go to the opposite side of the spectrum. They pick a base color. They go to the opposite side and pick a opposite color. Like I said, opposite colors. What are the logos? Yes, you could see Shell, Unilever, FedEx, Vodafone. The exact opposite colors they pick, and in not it's an exception in the Google scale. They have all the colors on the spectrum in the logo. So, and the second tool is that a prediction tool. I can copy paste my sorry. If this is my base color like blue, I can copy it. I can go to here and paste that color code here and hit the generate button. So this will actually give me some beautiful palettes that are best palettes that can work with that color. So this is another tool. So if you don't want to understand the very good logic behind the colors and everything, that this is another tool. And color hunt is already different. So this has some, if you don't even want to pick a primary color and then pick it, if you randomly want to choose a color set, here you go, colorhunt.co. You can pick a color, and you can copy paste this thing onto your design and you get these colors. So predefined color palettes. So colors.muzzly, I don't know, colors.muzz.li, that's the website. So here, if you pick a color, okay, it gives you palette suggestions. Up along with it, you can see some of the designs in that same color code also. So if you hover this pattern, you can see how the design looks. It also gives you that live kit demo too. Okay, if I select this is how it should look. That is how it is suggesting. Design your inputs like this, buttons like that. So if this is your base color, these are all the colors that will best work with it. And this is how you are going, UI going to look like. And it gives you some of the designs too, suggestions of the designs, how that you can use that color set in the design. So I personally love these two tools to pick a panel, and I come to that. I pick those colors from there. I come to this side, and I see how the UI looking. Just see that color set in action.